everyone. So this very quick video, hopefully very quick, is meant to just prompt you in the right direction on this bottom section of your notes on exact values. Okay, so I want to show you where you've got some triangles there in your notes. You may not understand where those come from yet. So I want to just give you a quick reminder of where these come from and then get you prompted, and then it'll be your job to fill in that table and show it to me tomorrow. So these are the special right triangles from geometry. This is the 45, 45, 90 and the 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we learned back in geometry that this is how their sides always work out. The ratios of their sides always work out in these proportions, okay? This is, by the way, what we would call an exact value because it's not a decimal version of that square root of 2. All right, this is an exact value. So what we're thinking about here is what if I had this same triangle, the same 45, 45, 90 triangle, but I wanted my hypotenuse to equal 1. What would these other two side lengths be? Well, we would say that 1 must equal x square root of 2, and then we need to find what x is. So we would do this. 1 equals x square root of 2, and then to solve that, divide by square root of 2. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's very light. You can barely see it. But so now I have this. Now I have x equals 1 over the square root of 2. That's not so bad, right? Except, remember that we can't leave a square root on the bottom of the fraction, so now we have to rationalize. So I'm going to multiply by the square root of 2 and the square root of 2. Okay, and that's going to give me x equals square root of 2 over 2. And based on this layout, that means that this length here and this length here are both square root of 2 over 2. I could do something really similar with this triangle. If I said I wanted that 2x to equal 1, this one's a lot easier to solve, right? Divide by 2 on each side, and I would get that x is equal to 1/2. And then if I put that 1/2 in here for x, this would be 1/2 square root of 3. And I just want to point out that a lot of the times the way you'll see that written is actually square root of 3 over 2. Okay? Okay, and there's a reason that we're setting our hypotenuse at 1 in both cases, okay, that we'll get to when we start talking unit circle. But for now, I just wanted you to know where these triangles came from. That this is meant to be a 45, 45, 90 triangle, okay? And this is meant to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Just be careful. This one is standing upright, and the one that we just did on that pink paper was laying down flat, okay? So the question is now, can we figure out sine, cosine, and tangent of these angles, okay? So I'm going to work you through one easy one and one that's a little bit harder, and then I want to see if you can do the rest. So if I want the sine of 45, we could type that into our calculator and get like a decimal, but I want exact values, and exact values mean no calculator, okay? The calculator is not going to help you here. It's not that I'm taking it away, it's that it won't do you any good. So sine of 45 would be opposite over hypotenuse, and I want you thinking about over as like a division problem, okay? So sine 45, based on this triangle up here, would be square root of 2 over 2 divided by 1. Well, hey, dividing by 1 is not so bad because your answer is just going to stay the same, right? So I can now say that my sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Let's talk about the tangent of 45 for a second, because you're going to have to do this with the other triangles. Tangent of 45 would be square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2. Now, I hope some of you are screaming right now that you know what the answer to that's going to be, because I hope that you recognize how easy this division problem really is. But the other two, the 30 and the 60 degrees for your tangents, are not quite as easy. So I'm going to walk through this one as though it were more difficult than it really is. Okay? So when you are dividing with fractions, you're going to end up multiplying by the reciprocal. So you would end up with square root of 2 over 2 times 2 over the square root of 2. Now, if you're good with fractions, you could start canceling some stuff out right now. But your next step would be to smash everything together. So up on the top, I end up with 2 square root of 2. On the bottom, I end up with 2 square root of 2. Well, 2 over 2 just equals 1, and square root of 2 over 2 just equals 1. 1 times 1 equals 1. So my answer there is 1. I hope most of you knew that it was 1 way back here. If you didn't, it's okay, but you did way more work than you had to. Normally I wouldn't take the time to write all of this out, but I wanted you to see what this process looked like for when you get to the 30 and the 60. The other thing you have to keep in mind, and I just showed this on this pink paper, is if your final answer had a square root left on the bottom, you have to do this step called rationalizing, okay? So your mission, along with the lesson master for homework, is to get the rest of this table filled in correctly, okay? When you come into class tomorrow, I'm going to be taking a look at your table and seeing if you got them right. So please take the time to work through those. And then there will be some questions about the exact values on your lesson master. If you do this first, you can take all those answers right off this table. Okay, that's really it on exact values. Good luck.